Oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, my aching container. I tell you, I thought this day would never end. Whew. What a day. I think I'll say that again. What a day. Mother always said there'd be days like this. Johnny O, she'd say. Johnny O's my name. Pleased to meet you. Johnny O, she'd say, you're going to have some really rough days, and you'll need every ounce of magic you've got. And you know, she was so right. What's that? Magic? Oh, sure. Well, I may look like just a kitchen appliance to you, but I'm really a magician. Oh, yes, indeed, I add a touch of magic to everyday living. Well, now, today, for instance. Today really kept me humming, but I went through it without a falter. A real mealtime magician. It all began at 7 o'clock this morning. A magician doesn't get much sleep around this house. Well, Chris, see, he's the baby in our family and a nice chap when he's not hungry. Anyway, Chris was ready for his breakfast. Come on, Mom, let's get started. Of course, my cousins do help out a bit on the simpler jobs, opening cans, things like that. But now it's my turn to perform. Curtain going up. First the water, then the juice. Ooh, it's cold. And away we go. Just a minor specialty of mine, aerating frozen juices for Chris and the family. And did you notice how easy Mom can pour the juice from my container? Yep, there you are, Chris. Now here's one fella who appreciates a bit of magic when he tastes it all right. Huh, Chris? Huh? Yeah, well, no time for applause. Say, I've got to get cleaned up for some real work. My life's an open container. Well, I'm easy to clean. Open at both ends, crystal clear, heat-resistant glass, and graduated for easy measuring. Now, let's see, what's it going to be this morning? Oh, apricots. Chris will love them. That's it, Mom, a little liquid from the apricots. And some sugar. See, my bottom is threaded to fit any standard canning jar. Breakfast coming up, Chris. I wish you'd turn me on high speed. Yeah, that's better. Presto, breakfast. And Chris is very particular about his food, too. Chris is a gourmet. But I make his meals really appealing. There you are. Perfectly smooth, huh? Now, how's that for a bit of magic? Oh, I don't want to brag, but, well, that's about as fine a baby food as you can find anywhere. Right, Chris? Huh? Yeah, I was just telling the boy. Well, he's a little preoccupied now. You know, and Mom can save over $100 a year preparing baby food at home. Besides giving Chris fresher, more vitamin-packed foods than he could get out of a can. Oh, no, here they come, the hungry horde. Robbie, his sister Diane, and Dad. Oh, well, the show must go on. Now, Dad there, well, he's all right. At least he has a little patience. But Robbie, what an appetite. And Diane. Quiet and sophisticated, huh? Yeah, well, you should just see the way I have to hum when she and her teenage friends want some milkshakes. Looks like scrambled eggs with deviled ham is a specialty this morning. Yesterday I made German pancakes, and the day before that, sweet milk waffles. This family sure likes variety. Well, I'm Johnny on the spot for variety. Like magic, huh? See, what did I tell you about Robbie? And Diane, well, she's never far behind. The only trouble with my act is that I do all the work. And Mom there, well, she gets all the credit. It's not fair. I mean, a magician should get some praise, you know. Sometimes I think I ought to quit showbiz. But then Mom does take good care of me. A nice bath when I need it. But I'm easy to wash. With my heat-resistant glass container, she can use plenty of hot water, too. Ah, that feels good. A little more to the left there. And Mom can clean my blade assembly because it's easy to unscrew, see? I'm the only glass container with removable blades. I'm a lot easier to clean than Chris. As I said before, Mom can use any standard canning jar on me. And besides, being open at both ends, my jar also has a tapered cutting well that allows me to, well, keep right on with my magic while food is being fed into my cutting blade. And my base, well, I've got a, excuse the expression, grip-tight seat, which is easy to clean and holds my container firmly. So you see, I'm a real no-fuss, no-muss magician. Well, now's my chance to catch a few winks before lunch. I'll be seeing you.
Mom, I'm home. What's for lunch?
Here we go again. Now, let me see. What to make. Oh, I know. How about starting off with some nice warm soup? You've got some leftover asparagus in the icebox. That's it. That delicious soup that I do so well. That is, with a little assistance from Mom. First, 2 cups of milk. Mom uses the handy measuring marks on my container. Now, 1 cup of cut asparagus. Hey, Mom, look out, you're splashing. 2 tablespoons soft butter. Teaspoon of salt. 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. Now I go to work. Pretty hot stuff, huh? I should mention that I retain all the essential minerals and vitamins in foods. Now, let me ask you, what would you do with a leftover hot dog? Well, Mom knows. It's the basic ingredient for my special what-have-you sandwich spread. Just add some stuffed olives and some mayonnaise. I make that too, you know. Now, on with my cutting blades. High speed, madam. And there you are. Here's another of my tricks. Milk smoothie with cherries. All you have to give me is cold milk, a banana, and some cherries. And the children really love it. There they go again, congratulating Mom. Well, I won't be proud. Hey, Mom, how's about finishing off with some orange sherbet? A delicious meal, turned out in minutes. Well, with a magician like me in the house, anyone can be a real honest-to-goodness chef. Diane, for instance. Right after school, she'll be bringing her friends in for shakes and peanut butter sandwiches. No rest for this magician. See what I mean about making me hum? That's the 3rd shake they've all had. Well, at least I can keep up with the latest tunes this way. See, Diane is always showing off what she can make with my assistance. Take peanut butter, for instance. Nothing to it. You just put in a cup of peanuts. You turn me on high, and I make the creamiest peanut butter you ever tasted. As Diane would say, this peanut butter is way out, man. It's the most, man. Like I said, I mean, excuse me, I forgot. And it looks like Mom forgot about the time, too. Wow, and she's got company coming. Oh, I'm in for a real workout. Well, we made it. My special stroganoff, cheddar cheese bowl, appetizers, avocado dip, and my piece de resistance, salad of gold. And take a look at my special homemade mayonnaise. But do you think I got a little credit? Maybe even just a pat on the container? No, sir. I don't even get a breather. Now Dad starts on the drinks. My icer attachment comes in handy here. The feed level prevents ice cubes from bouncing out of the feed opening. I never freeze up, and no catch bag is necessary. Now, on to the drinks. The party's off to a good start, huh? Appetizers, drinks, entree, all done with ease and style. I wish they'd invited me. Oh, I beg your pardon. Well, as I was saying, everything's done so quickly, and with none of the usual mess. What more could you ask of a mealtime magician? Oh, if I could just get a few winks. I knew it. I knew it wouldn't last. I bet she forgot to make the coffee and the sauce for the ice cream. Oh, well, on with the show. I can grind coffee just the way you like, too. Coarse or very fine for a pot. Percolator or by the drip method. Fresh-tasting coffee is one of my special tricks. Now let's get started on the chocolate sauce. I whip out a creamy, smooth sauce in seconds. Just 2 squares of cut-up chocolate, half a cup of sugar, just a dash there of vanilla, salt, and don't forget the milk. Now, how's that for appetite appeal? I bet she'll get a lot of compliments on this dessert. And just look at her, fresh as a daisy. She'll be taking all the bows. Oh, well, as we old performers say, that's showbiz. And that's how it went today. Well, that's how it goes every day. But I'm always on the job. Never tired, nor sick, not even late. Neither rain, nor snow, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these magicians from their swift... You know what I mean. At least I'll get a little rest. Oh, no. Don't they ever go to sleep? I bet they want some hot cocoa. Well, like I said, see, nor gloom of night. Come to think of it, a little hot cocoa is just what I need for a good night's sleep. A little more milk, please. Thank you. Well, the show's over, and no applause. There, you see, Dad appreciates me. A magician in the kitchen, huh? Yeah, and Mom agrees with him, giving me all the credit for the dinner tonight. Oh, that's pretty swell of both of them. I mean, they did do a lot of the work, but then it's nice to know you're appreciated. Makes you feel proud to be a first-class mealtime magician. Yes, sir. Good night.
sandwich maker has helped shape the eating habits of America with his skill and originality. By adding a sprig of imagination and a touch of glamour to a simple filling and 2 slices of bread, he has helped make his specialty the #1 national treat. When a customer orders a quick sandwich meal, he'll come back again and again if his sandwich plate is eye-appealing as well as delicious. Attractive sandwiches don't just happen. They're planned in advance, down to the smallest detail. Even the way a sandwich is placed on the plate becomes important. The extra care taken and the little original touches that can be added by the sandwich maker pay dividends in satisfied and appreciative guests. Planning starts with the tools and foods used by the sandwich maker. The work area should be carefully designed and efficiently arranged to save time and effort. Tools and foods used most often should be kept closest at hand within the normal work area shown by the red dots. Those used less often should be kept within the maximum work area shown in yellow. As a sandwich specialist, you need special tools: 2-tine fork, short spatulas, tongs, scoop, and a French knife or a knife with a rigid blade. The cutting edge is always turned away from the worker. To the left of the spreads and garnishes is the bread. Variety in bread adds taste, color, and texture to your product. Small amounts on the work surface ensure freshness. At the extreme left is the toaster. For peak efficiency, work should always flow in one direction. Wrapped bread, not for immediate use, is stored near the work area within easy reach. Spreads and fillings for sandwiches should be kept in small quantities on a refrigerated work surface. To ensure freshness, public health authorities emphasize the need for working with small quantities. Fillings and spreads which are used most frequently should be placed nearest the worker. All should be refrigerated. To avoid menu monotony, the wise sandwich maker offers as great a variety of fillings as he possibly can. Work surface containers can be replenished from a larger supply of fillings stored in the refrigerator. Remember the importance of garnishes. While the customer may not see the filling, his eye can be caught by attractive garnish. Turkey and other meats should be weighed, wrapped, and cross-stacked in advance for easy handling and portion control. Preparation of sandwich ingredients should be done during slack hours. Sliced meats and cheese should be wrapped and kept under refrigeration to prevent drying. The sandwich maker is now ready to demonstrate our first method of making sandwiches. In this and all other demonstrations, the action has been slowed down so that you may see each step clearly. This method is particularly effective where work is done in view of the public. Note that each slice is spread with one stroke, eliminating unnecessary movement. The wise sandwich maker learns just the right amount of filling to use to please both the boss and the customer. Filling is spread to the edge of the bread. Cut with an easy sawing motion. A quick transfer to the plate, add a bit of glamour, and you've produced a sandwich special in record time without touching any of the ingredients. Some prefer this method. Health authorities approve when hands and fingernails are kept thoroughly clean. Again, the decorator's touch adds eye appeal, and in a few seconds, the sandwich is completed. Before we consider the third method, let's see what can be done to add eye appeal and variety to sandwiches by simply using different patterns of slicing. There's almost no end to the variety of attractive patterns that the creative sandwich maker can achieve. Our third method, quantity production, is popular in schools, cafeterias, plants, and fast turnover restaurants. Again, the demonstrator moves slowly so that you can study each step. A large number of sandwiches can be made in one operation. The demonstrator will prepare 16 sandwiches of one variety and 16 of another. Portions of the filling are controlled by pressing the scoop against the side of the container. The filling is spread to the edge of the bread by using an easy S motion. Next, 2 slices of bread cover the filling on the first layer of sandwiches and provide the bottom slice for a second layer. Again, the spread is applied in one direction to the edge of each slice of bread. The cheese slices are cross-stacked in advance for convenience. The 32 sandwiches are completed by putting the last slices of bread in place. The sandwiches are cut diagonally, ready for wrapping and storage under refrigeration. Combinations may be offered the customer for variety. Halves of 2 different sandwiches made at the same time in quantity production may be wrapped together. Waxed or transparent paper used to wrap the sandwich in this way provides a moisture-tight seal to ensure freshness. It also gives the customer a chance to see his sandwich before he buys it. This is but one of several ways to package sandwiches to assure a fresh, attractive product. Wrapped sandwiches can be prepared in advance, refrigerated, and displayed during rush hours. They are ideal for the preparation of carry-out lunches. Today, the sandwich you make takes its place in a completely planned meal. These dressed-up menu headliners are fast becoming bestsellers across the country, building profitable reputations for their restaurants and for you. Today, sandwich making is more than just a job. It's a craft that requires skill, originality, and creativeness. To excel is a challenge to you, the sandwich maker.
Father of waters and mother of a city. This is the Mississippi, rolling down to the ancient delta and the Gulf. The river and time, climate and geography. These have created the city. A city old with the charm of time, unhurried, old with the touch of history in the making. centuries of mingled influence from many lands. And a city young. Young is the urge to gaiety while you may. All the pattern of her vigorous past comes brightly alive in the New Orleans of today. A city and a life tuned to the pleasures and the pleasantries of refined and zestful living. Renowned for her cosmopolitan tastes, New Orleans is America's own mecca for the gourmet. A city of brilliant and moving contrasts. For here is the worldly warmth and sensitive good taste of France, mother of New Orleans' Vieux Carré, the old quarter. Here too the living memories of the time when Spain ruled this corner of the continent. And from Italy, that homeland of the joyful appetite, New Orleans takes another facet of her colorful character. New Orleans' cosmopolitan tradition is expressed most brilliantly in her cultivated ability to make good food contribute so keenly to the fun of living. And the seafood delicacy that most excites the skills of her great chefs is that tasty sea morsel, the shrimp. Come then into an old New Orleans kitchen to meet one of its most famous shrimp surprises. Old as the South and as new as the challenge of each day's dinner. It's shrimp gumbo, a rich and hearty blend of subtle flavors. Saute 2 cups of sliced okra in 1/3 cup shortening for about 10 minutes, stirring constantly. Then add 2/3 of a cup of chopped onion, 3 cloves of finely chopped garlic, 1/2 teaspoonful of pepper, 1 1/2 teaspoonsful of salt, and 1 pound of raw, frozen, fully peeled, deveined shrimp. No minutes lost in extra work and no waste paid for on market scales. This sea-fresh shrimp is ready when you are. Cook for 5 minutes. Then 2 cups of water, 1 cup of canned tomatoes, and 2 bay leaves for piquant substance. Let the gumbo simmer for 10 to 20 minutes. Some people remove the bay leaves and add a few drops of Tabasco before serving. Served with cooked rice and good French bread, shrimp gumbo is a treat in the best New Orleans tradition. What next on this gourmet's tour of eating delights? The scene, of course, is New Orleans, but the selection? Well, combine the Oriental flair for delicate taste variety with the delicate taste of shrimp, and it could be, most anything. Ah, the experts approve, and so it is shrimp Oriental. Remove the glaze from 1 pound of raw, frozen, fully peeled and deveined shrimp by placing them in water. Let them stand in 1/4 cup of lemon juice for about 10 minutes. Now, cut the shrimp lengthwise and pop them into a paper bag containing 1 cup of flour and shake. Dip each shrimp in a mixture of 3 well-beaten eggs and 1 1/2 teaspoonsful of salt. Fry the shrimp in shortening. That's it. In just minutes, shrimp Oriental. Beguilingly simple and yet so different. A taste treat from the Orient. a shrimp tip from New Orleans. New Orleans, of course, is a little corner of France in America, and the subtle artistry of the French has contributed much to the old city's tradition of good eating, pleasant living. It's an artistry that is flattered by endless imitation in millions of American homes. Ingredients delivered. What now can be on this busy male mind? Shrimp menu, thermidor, bisque, shrimp Almondine. Saute 1 cup of blanched slivered almonds in a ½ cup of butter until lightly browned. The epicure, of course, keeps his dishes simple. Remove the almonds and saute 1 pound of pre-cooked, fully peeled, deveined shrimp to a light brown in the butter. Add the browned almonds. Season with 1/2 teaspoonful of salt and a dash of pepper. Add 2 tablespoonsful of chopped parsley. Don't overcook. A heavy hand here can smother that delicate taste. And there you are. These women had better raise. Now a tip from the folks who have so long loved the sea as a source of good eating enjoyment. Origin, Italy, with menu bright amendments created in New Orleans. This is pizza. Shrimp pizza. You cook 1/3 cup of chopped onions and 9 cloves of finely chopped garlic in 1/2 cup of olive oil. Add 3 6-ounce cans of tomato paste and simmer the mixture for 5 minutes. Now, remove from the heat and add 1/3 cup of chopped parsley and about 1 1/2 teaspoonsful of oregano. Drain 3 4-1/2-ounce cans of fully peeled, deveined shrimp. Spread 1/3 of the sauce on each of the 9-inch unbaked pizza crusts. Then top the pizza with the shrimp and mozzarella cheese, sliced thin. Pop into a hot oven about 425 degrees for 20 minutes. Till the crust is brown and the cheese melts down to a tangy mantle. Smooth but tart and excitingly different, shrimp pizza sharpens the appetite. It's a quickie delight, fit to grace the humblest or the most sophisticated table. Our Latin neighbors in Old New Orleans know well the ways to make good seafood sing. Mingle shrimp with herbs and spices. Give it a name to roll on your tongue as gaily as the tasty dish itself. They call it Jambalaya. Saute 1/2 cup of diced ham in 2 tablespoonsful of shortening. Add 1/2 cup of onions and 2 cloves of garlic. Then a cup of green peppers, all chopped and cooked till tender. Add 1 1/2 cups of canned tomatoes. 1 1/2 cups of water. And 1 cup of uncooked rice. Then the seasonings. 1 bay leaf. 1/2 teaspoonful of crushed whole thyme. 1/4 teaspoonful of salt and a dash of cayenne pepper. Cook the wonderfully fragrant mixture until the rice is tender. It'll take about 30 minutes. Now, add 1/4 cup of chopped parsley and 2 4-1/2-ounce cans of fully peeled, deveined small shrimp. So good, so quick, so nourishing, and so easy to prepare. It's a time and money saver for Mother. Top a day at your table with shrimp jambalaya. You'll brighten any day in your kitchen with shrimp tips from New Orleans. Chef-selected dishes from the best New Orleans kitchens. This is another tempting favorite, remoulade sauce or shrimp. 2 cloves of finely chopped garlic, 1/3 cup of horseradish mustard, 2 tablespoons full of ketchup, 2 1/2 tablespoons full of paprika, 3/4 of a teaspoonful of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoonful of salt, 1/3 cup of tarragon vinegar, 1/2 cup of olive oil, 1/2 cup of chopped green onion and tops. Combine all ingredients and shake the daylights out of this brisk combination. Deftly now, add a pound of pre-cooked, fully peeled, deveined shrimp. Place in the refrigerator and marinate for several hours. Nothing quite so perks up the pattern of fun in the open as shrimp that's dunked in sauce remoulade. For the picnic, the backyard supper, the tasty meal treat you want in a hurry. Enjoy this good, gay gift from the sea, so packed with natural protein nourishment. And take a final tip from Old New Orleans. Get your very own copy of a full-color book of famous recipes by writing the Superintendent of Documents, Government Printing Office, Washington 25, D.C. Enclose only 15 cents and ask for Shrimp Tips from New Orleans. You'll have at your fingertips the easy, good meals you've seen prepared, plus many more.
Through the years, people have sought refreshing things. Wherever refreshment could be found, there men gathered. In colonial America, the favorite gathering place was the local inn, with its welcome promise of drink for the thirsty, food for the hungry, lodging for the weary, and good keeping for horses. At the inn, men gathered for refreshment and to enjoy sociability. They liked to talk business, for they were men of affairs. Their affairs were the problems of the day, and in solving those problems, they laid the foundation of our great nation. Horses provided the only means of overland communication. Towns were far apart. Travel was difficult. When the courier arrived with the mail, his destination was the town inn. His first thought was for refreshment. So what could be more natural than for understanding citizens to curb their impatience for long-awaited letters until the rider had quenched his thirst? There was another kind of gathering place then, too. Springs of natural carbonated waters that issued from the earth. From here, from there, from everywhere they came, seeking the refreshment that nature provided. Those people were fortune's favorites, with leisure and means to travel and visit the natural carbonated springs of their day. Their pilgrimages turned those watering places into centers of relaxation and gaiety. However, the reason why the waters sparkled and danced was one of nature's secrets. And in colonial days, man had yet to learn that secret. At this time, an English clergyman with a flair for chemistry believed that man could discover nature's secret, could produce sparkling, effervescent water, could make it available to all. His name was Joseph Priestley. His laboratory was makeshift, his apparatus crude. His genius combined products of nature to make a product heretofore found only in nature, carbonating gas. Priestley captured the gas. He forced the gas into a keg containing plain water. He rocked the keg to mix gas and water. The experiment was successful. Priestley had produced the first man-made carbonated water. No longer would people have to travel to distant springs to enjoy the carbonated waters of nature. 40 years later, in the apothecary shop of Townsend Speakman of Philadelphia, another important discovery was made. Druggist Speakman knew something about taste. He believed that people would enjoy carbonated water more if it were flavored. So he added fruit juice. Then he used sugar to sweeten the drink. The result was the first flavored carbonated beverage. Here was a pleasant and palatable combination. Here indeed was a new idea. People liked the drink, called it soda water. Through the years that followed, Speakman's discovery led other men to make further experiments in taste. They called on nature's storehouse for flavors, blending old ones, creating new ones, mixing, tasting, changing. They were seeking new and intriguing ways to provide syrups for the carbonated beverages now becoming a part of American life. From here, from there, from everywhere they came, attracted to the current counterpart of the inns and water places of colonial days. The gathering place of a new age, the soda fountain, helping to make the 90s gay. Here was happy sociability, life and gaiety among those who stopped for refreshment. And here, too, was a new drink that people were talking about. Syrup, finely chipped ice, bubbling carbonated water. Yes, people talked about it, tried it, and even then learned the happy enjoyment to be found in the pause that refreshes. This was progress, growth, and although they had no one-way streets, they did have the modern convenience of one-way pockets. An eager public demanding carbonated beverages had created a new industry and had made the soda fountain an established part of American life. But the thrill of the soda fountain could not be taken along as men and women enjoyed another thrill, the automobile. The automobile put people on the move, taking them to places where there were no soda fountains. With the horseless carriage came, besides goggles and dusters, a whole new pattern of life. The motor car was destined to change the habits of the nation. It had a profound effect on the industry that supplied refreshment. Streamlining was far in the future. But thirst and the need for refreshment were ever present with people who were, even then, learning to play as vigorously as they worked. The great American game. And those strenuous citizens who took their exercise by paying others to play for them would have welcomed the great American drink. Take Me Out to the Ball Game was a favorite song of the day. And what a hit it would have made with these fans if somebody had taken their favorite drink to them. So, to keep pace with demand, men began to bottle the national drink. Early bottling plants were small. Machinery was crude, methods slow. The proprietor was his own one-man production crew. Occasionally, a bottler enjoyed the luxury of a helper who was seldom permitted to do more than wash bottles, using lead shot to clean the inside of the old-fashioned bottle with its wire loop stopper. The heavy sleeves and apron, the stout gloves, the catcher's mask, all these afforded needed protection. Filling a bottle was a hazardous undertaking. In this step of the process, almost anything could happen. The bottler knew that there was a great future to his business. It was a one-horse business then, limited by the distance a horse could travel. But in bottles, the drink could go anywhere. There was no limit to the opportunities ahead. The pioneer bottler may have sold only one case at a time, but he was expanding the frontiers of his industry, building for today, when modern distribution methods would bring sparkling, gleaming bottles to people everywhere. Today, the bottle supplies refreshment to people wherever they are, goes with them wherever they go. Today, bright and cheerful soda fountains are the streamlined gathering places of a streamlined age, offering refreshment, relaxation, sociability to all. Today, in making all this possible, many industries cooperate with their products and services. The story of the refreshment business, like so much of the history of American commerce, is the story of partnership in enterprise. In growing from simple beginnings to its present stature, this business has helped other businesses to grow and has, in turn, been helped by them. One of these is the glass industry. Before refreshing drinks could be placed within arm's length of desire, bottles were needed. Practical bottles that could be made economically in great quantities. Glass manufacturers found the way to meet this requirement. Glassmaking, one of man's oldest arts, has become one of the most modern of industries. Here, skilled craftsmen direct fabulous machines. Fiery furnaces yield an endless flow of molten glass. Sharp blades cut the stream. White-hot blobs drop into waiting molds. Iron hands receive the molten mass, spin it, twist it, turn it, and start it on its way. Other hands catch hold. They press and form the fluid glass, mold it into shape, giving each the distinctive character that identifies this bottle for people everywhere. Yes, fabulous machines. They contribute to your enjoyment of refreshment by producing bottles in a never-ending phalanx, sparkling, gleaming. Here, American ingenuity and American labor have combined to produce typically American cooperation between industries. Glass has widened horizons for refreshment. Refreshment has, in turn, provided an ever-growing market for glass. Another partner in enterprise with the refreshment business is steel. Vulcan's cauldron. Here, guided by strong, sure hands, boiling metal is tamed to human needs. Steel mills and steel men fashion material for many major uses of the refreshment business. The roaring furnaces these men control produce steel for buildings, steel for machinery, steel for trucks, steel for scores of different uses. Besides providing markets for established industries, the beverage business has created whole new industries. The making of bottle tops is one of these. Men feed flat sheets into hungry presses. Biting out the metal, they produce steel shells for bottle caps. Shells by the hundreds, by the thousands, by the hundreds of thousands. Shells by the millions. To make each shell an airtight bottle seal, cork is needed. Cork from strange, far places, processed and cut to size by skilled and knowing hands in ingenious machinery devised by other knowing, skillful hands. Metal shells and discs of cork are brought together. They emerge the modern bottle crown, a perfect seal to lock the life and sparkle in the carbonated beverage of today. Far away in sunny fields of sugarcane, men and women keep busy so that other busy men and women may keep refreshed. From rich, abundant soils comes the harvest of carefully cultivated sugar crops. It starts its journey in rough, primitive carts. Merchant ships of the world continue this odyssey of commerce, transport raw sugar to refineries. The sugar industry hails the carbonated beverage business as one of its largest customers. The needs of one have broadened the facilities and operations of the other to the mutual benefit of both. Today, modern syrup manufacturing plants mark the growth of the refreshment industry. In spotless surroundings, amid gleaming stainless steel equipment, trained men work with unhurried precision. Their job is to blend sugar and other good things from the far corners of the earth into syrup for refreshing drinks. The scientist has joined the beverage manufacturer. Beverage making has become a science, like the preparation of other pure food products. Constant tests safeguard purity. Every ounce must conform to rigid standards of uniform quality before the syrup goes into containers, ready for the first step of its journey to you. Off it goes, barrel after barrel, to bottling plants in the north, the south, the east, and the west, large and small. Local enterprises owned by local capital, employing hometown folks. Bottling plants are important factors in the business life of their communities. Inside these plants, men and machines unite in the job of bottling your favorite drink. Men start empty bottles through the washing machines. From then until the final step in the bottling process is completed, human hands direct but do not touch a single bottle. Out of the washer they come, bright, gleaming, sparkling clean. There's rhythm in their march, the smart, efficient rhythm of modern industry. The filling starts. Each bottle receives the right amount of syrup. Round and round the bottles go while carbonated water is measured and added. Round and round to the capping machine, where the modern bottle crown seals each one and safeguards the purity and wholesomeness of every drink. Round and round the bottles twirl until syrup and carbonated water mix to form the finished beverage. Round and round, bottle after bottle, moving endlessly to satisfy the needs of thirsty people everywhere. Refreshment on the move. To take the drink to market, more men are needed and more machines. Today, motor trucks, the 7-league boots of modern business, provide vital transportation, serving every city, reaching every crossroad. Yes, carbonated beverages in bottles can and do go wherever people are and wherever people go. For people at work, refreshment makes a pause a pleasant, happy moment. The bottle rises to the occasion for a workman who wants to flavor lunch with refreshment. It supplies a new and welcome service at the service station. Goes along with people bent on recreation. Is a happy aftermath of sports, summer or winter, since thirst knows no season. At home, refreshment supplies the pause that keeps a housewife going. It serves the needs of hospitality, is a winning trick that every thoughtful hostess knows, adding life and sparkle to a gracious scheme of living. And behind every refreshing scene is a marshaling of men and materials, nature's products from the far corners of the earth, refined products in an endless flowing stream. The carbonated beverage industry requires lumber for kegs, for cases, for many uses. Its wares roll to market over the transportation facilities of the nation. It needs the product of the glass maker. It needs bottle tops, millions of bottle tops for millions of drinks. Steel ingots glow with fiery iridescence, supplying stout metal containers for carbonating gas. Mills hum with busy activity, making steel for signs. The beverage industry needs steel for trucks, thousands of trucks to carry refreshment everywhere. It needs steel for coolers to refrigerate carbonated drinks. Because of beverages, the iceman finds more work, sells more ice. The container business has a whole new market in cartons to take refreshment home. And it needs men as well as materials, men to make drinks, men and women to sell them, soda dispensers, dealers, retail merchants, waiters and waitresses, delivery men, vendors. It has become a great modern industry affecting many other industries. All year round, this business employs thousands directly. Indirectly provides work for hundreds of thousands more. From the first glass of effervescent water made by Priestley, from Speakman's revolutionary experiments in sweetening and flavoring this water, from the gaudy but gay soda fountains of grandfather's time, and from the crude but ambitious plants of pioneer bottling days, the carbonated beverage industry has traveled far. It has made available to all what was once one of nature's luxuries. And in turning Priestley's discovery, as well as Speakman's daring idea into a product of everyday enjoyment, this business has fostered and promoted the American tradition of cooperation between industries, one business helping another, partnership in enterprise, to bring you refreshment through the years.
A concrete ribbon leading toward a modern miracle. Colonial Parkway, threading through the tranquil beauty, the history-rich countryside of Virginia. A signpost, a pathway into America's glorious past. Here, reborn, restored, is Virginia's colonial capital, the cradle of democracy, Williamsburg. The little city, meticulously returned to life by the Rockefellers, affords a breathtaking glimpse of the America of yesterday. Here stands the capital of Virginia Colony. Here, where romantic colonial costumes can still be seen today, Patrick Henry stirringly denounced the Stamp Act. From this capital came the call for a Declaration of Independence. When George III's irate governor dissolved the Assembly, the patriotic legislators convened secretly in Williamsburg's Raleigh Tavern, one of the most famous inns in all history. Josiah Chowning's Tavern was another popular rendezvous for pleasure-bent Williamsburg, or for hot-blooded seditionists who filled the city in pre-revolutionary days and met secretly in the taverns to plot against the Crown's oppressions. 7 royal governors and the first 2 governors of Virginia Commonwealth called the Governor's Palace home.
Here was the handsomest estate in the colonies, the showplace of the New World. The gay little capital resembled the court of St. James. Finely dressed ladies and bewigged and bepowdered gentlemen rode to the governor's levees and sumptuous state balls in fine carriages like these, still seen in Williamsburg today. And almost in the shadow of the palace were hatching plots that culminated in the Revolution. Judges in the old courthouse and the nearby general court meted out such punishments as lashing, branding, mutilation, or hanging to offenders. This saved jail expense. Old Powder Horn, another of Williamsburg's historic treasures. Built by taxes on slaves to house the king's arms, it served as a vital revolutionary arsenal. Prisoners awaiting execution were conducted to Bruton Parish Church each Sunday to worship alongside the great men of the Revolution. The church was completed in 1715. Spring and fall each year, it seemed all Virginia came to Williamsburg for public times, the assembly meeting and court session. The late President Roosevelt described Duke of Gloucester Street, the main thoroughfare, as the most historic avenue in all America. It echoed the footsteps of such titans as John Marshall, Tyler, Madison, and Monroe, as they began their march to undying fame. Not the least among Williamsburg's glories is the famous old college of William and Mary. This tradition-steeped school, with the oldest royal charter in America, is the alma mater of such Americans as Jefferson, Monroe, and John Marshall. George Washington was a chancellor. 3 presidents, 13 cabinet members, 29 senators, and 21 governors studied at William and Mary. But William and Mary is a modern school, too, with modern students and ideas. Freshmen pay homage to Lord Beaufort, the royal governor who in 1770 at William and Mary bestowed the first academic prizes ever given in America. William and Mary boasts in the Sir Christopher Wren Building the oldest college edifice in America, designed by and named for the noted architect of St. Paul's Cathedral, London. The cornerstone was laid in 1695. Through generations, the Wren Building has been the focus of campus activity. In the Great Hall, the returning students have just selected their homecoming queen, beautiful blonde Betty Walsh. This greatest campus honor is eagerly sought after by every William and Mary girl. Now is Betty's moment of glory, to be shared by her enthusiastic friends and classmates. Interesting and a little surprising, on the hallowed college green where Colonel Patrick Henry drilled his Virginia riflemen in hunting shirts bearing their commander's legend, "Liberty or Death," we discover modern, vital, style-conscious young men and women. George Washington in wig and gold epaulets reviewed the Continental Army on this campus before the siege of Yorktown. But uniforms are different now. In this case, D.D. Johnson's intriguing new creations for fall campus wear. Here is a must in every college girl's life, a casual worsted jersey in a smart gray with small plaid pattern, or the Gibson girl trimness of D.D. Johnson's Americana design in a predominantly red little woman plaid. Practical, comfortable, wrinkle and crease-free, perfect for the campus wardrobe. New turf topper shoes by Joyce for campus wear are of attractive but durable rough glove leather. The unique Joyce platforms are neoprene covered, impervious to rain and snow. This turf topper is the model Zippity with a practical zipper. William and Mary co-eds resemble their sisters on other campuses in a love for sweaters and skirts. And small wonder, with such a lovely knitwear creation as Jane Irwell's sweater stylings to choose from. But this is not the whole campus wardrobe story. Another must is a warm, colorful, eye-catching coat. These 3 beauties are fashion ideas of Adele California sportswear, perfect for late fall and winter. This striking all-round model is of natural Pompaquito. Here's another style to gladden the co-ed heart. A short fingertip-length model in lively brown plaid. Just right for informal wear on or off campus. Popular, too, is the dressier model by Adele Sportswear, this time in bright tile with gold buttons. The full-length model features draped fullness in the back. Stocking magic invades the dorm and classroom. Delicate gossamer nylon marvels, strong as the beautiful black cottons of a generation ago. College girls have a trick of wearing cotton gloves to avoid fingernail snags when donning sheer hose. Women today wear the most beautiful stockings ever made. Patented dancing twins, sheer and seam-free, their exquisite beauty enhanced by gold sandals from Joyce. Student government is an important phase of life at William & Mary. But where the usual politician decides issues in smoke-filled rooms, the student politician does his best political thinking over a delicious, refreshing Coke in the campus drugstore. That night, the new queen, Betty, dispatches the all-important letter to her mother, describing her triumph, inviting her to attend the homecoming. But the letter is sealed and sent on its way home with a worried frown. Betty remembers her mother as she last saw her, gracious, charming, true, but indifferent to style, color, and, as Mrs. Walsh herself characterized it, all that foolishness. Some women lavish attention on clothes, but Mrs. Walsh has devoted all her time and energy to her home, and her flowers, and her only daughter. Admirable qualities, certainly, but too self-neglectful for a woman who should be enjoying life to the full. Somehow, Betty's welcome letter is destined to change all that. When she wrote home, Betty realized that the campus would expect the mother of the homecoming queen to be every bit as attractive and well-groomed, in a mature way, as her well-favored daughter. If only, some way, Mrs. Walsh could be told how. Such important news must be shared with Mrs. Walsh's friend next door, Mrs. Davis. Mrs. Davis is delighted with the news, of course, and excited over the invitation. But Mrs. Walsh doubts that she should go. Why? She hasn't a thing to wear. Well, we can certainly fix that in a hurry, Mrs. Davis insists. Do you really think so? Betty's mother is hopeful but dubious. I haven't kept up on styles and I wouldn't know what to buy. You go get dressed and meet me outside, Mrs. Davis orders. I'm going to introduce you to something wonderful. Something you should have discovered long ago. Mrs. Davis is the first to be ready. Smartly dressed as always, she waits for her mystified and wondering neighbor. Her cleverly styled red costume is the best evidence in the world that a mature woman, by intelligent choice of style, can dress as attractively as her daughter. No wonder Betty was worried. Her mother's suit may have done very well in its year. But this is 1948. And Mrs. Walsh's costume isn't. It's strictly up to Mrs. Davis to save the day. The magic trick Mrs. Davis seemed to have up her sleeve is soon explained. Her destination is a style show in the local department store. Betty's mother is being introduced to a wonderful, revolutionary new idea in styles for mature women. Flattering, slimming, in high modern fashion, yet designed for perfect, comfortable fit without troublesome alteration. Such, in brief, is the concept and the magic of Young Viewpoint. Young Viewpoint. Mrs. Walsh is intrigued immediately. For years, armies of women have been clamoring for just such an innovation as Young Viewpoint. Until now, the woman or miss of larger proportions has had either to wear women's sizes and accept the style penalty, or wear Mrs. Styles and sacrifice fit, comfortable, and wearability. But no longer. Young Viewpoint has brought a refreshing new approach to the problem. Countless measurements and experiments with thousands of difficult fittings evolved a formula for a new scale of dress sizes. Young Viewpoint's Y size range for the mature figure. Mrs. Davis discovered the new concept by herself. Now Betty's mother is about to learn the convenience and satisfaction of this new style facility for the erstwhile forgotten woman of fashion. In placing imaginative shoulder accents and informing shoulders, designers have displayed genius and utilized results of exhaustive studies. They've captured and cataloged every flattering feature that skirt or sleeve or jacket can supply. Each Young Viewpoint dress is designed to make its wearer look taller and more slender, and years younger. Once there was an excuse for a woman condemned to drab, dowdy dresses to turn her back on fashion. But not now, Mrs. Walsh, not with Young Viewpoint. Long, upward-moving lines, highly placed accents, and zestful millinery mean chic and charm for the wearer. Lacing trim strikes the note of style in this soft, lustrous purple crepe model. The interesting, rich, dark, or muted colors of these selections, charming and flattering, are fundamental secrets in the Young Viewpoint approach to smart fashion achievement. Avoidance of the loud and garish, flattering colors used with refinement and subtlety. Season to season, as the whims of fashion change, her latest decrees are found embodied and adapted in fashions for the middle years. Whether it's glistening crescents back to back, or a sequin or a new shade, if fashion wills it, it will be reflected by Young Viewpoint in versions to praise the figure and emphasize the youthful outlook of the wearer. Fashions fun to choose, fun to wear. Almost imperceptibly, Young Viewpoint's 14Y to 24Y size range enhances bodice fullness, shortens waistlines to suit the figure type, and affords the easiness at the hips that means a snug, flattering fit. Every tuck, every pleat is cleverly designed to suggest slenderness and increased height. Truly magnificent styles with a hitherto unheard of beauty. A smart slenderizing silhouette, captivating detail, and imaginative, colorful fabrics. All this for the woman who formerly was protestingly confined to languish in fashion's limbo. And smartness. Here, for example, is a svelte dinner suit, a two-piece after-5 dressy number in iridescent taffeta. Guaranteed to demand its share of respectful attention and admiration, whatever the company or occasion. Points to be noticed in all Young Viewpoints are the accented shoulders, the graceful full skirts, skillfully designed jackets, the flattering sleeves, and smooth-fitting hips, along with dozens of tiny, intricate hidden details in every fold and seam that collectively spell silhouette magic. Impressed, aren't you, Mrs. Walsh? And what woman wouldn't be? It must seem like a miracle. Yes, this is your opportunity to show Betty a mother worthy of a homecoming queen. Here in a bright new package is truly the art of looking young. And so easy to learn. Here are your trimly tailored street dresses, smartly soft afternoon frocks, or dashing, sophisticated dinner gowns. Every style requirement for a full, enjoyable homecoming weekend. Through the wizardry in the Young Viewpoint idea, Betty will see a seemingly taller, more slender, younger looking, and infinitely smarter mother. Thanks to Mrs. Davis and Young Viewpoint, that beautiful blonde daughter is in for a surprise. Jerry Collins, #1 man in Betty's life, is as important to the campus as books or the faculty. For Jerry's lunch truck, besides providing the wherewithal for his education, provides William and Mary students with the world-famed pause that refreshes. Coca-Cola and college campus, always an inseparable duo. Romance always seems to flower quickly in the shadow of ivy-covered walls, and Coca-Cola can always be counted on to smooth the path of true love. Higher education, homecoming, and the high enjoyment in a Coke. Ingredients for a pretty story. But romance must wait when an impatient customer demands to be served. Business before pleasure always. Homecoming weekend is really beginning to get underway, with lucky alumni arriving in beautiful, eye-arresting new Fords, the car of the year. But whether it's the pretty head of a sorority committee, or the school's favorite football star, Johnny Thompson, an ice-cold Coca-Cola provides a welcome interlude. The girls wear Jane Irwell's designed to be lived-in sweaters, a boxy green and smart blue slip-on. Jane Irwell offers a selection of soft cashmeres, fluffy angoras, nubby chenilles, and botany yarns, in perfectly coordinated colors and yarns, and all knitted by master craftsmen. The big football game is, of course, the center of interest for grad and undergrad alike. But expert co-ed riders prep for horseback events, too, displaying skill that would do credit to a veteran cavalryman. Campus fashions at homecoming time are events in themselves, every bit as important as football or horse shows or parades. Big plaids and little plaids in the jacket, combined with solid color in the skirt, add up to a winning style combination. And Joyce provides fanciful country cousin turf toppers, springy underfoot as a pine needle carpet. Here, a novel capelet collar reminiscent of pilgrim days on a boxy jacket in small plaid. Rich, resonant fall colors offer seemingly infinite variety of tasteful combinations. And for accent, large, bold-striking pockets. Neat, coyly flattering Joyce shoes follow the subtle, nostalgic suggestion. Here, a Jane Irwell sweater creation. A cable-stitch slipover and cardigan in lustrous red zephyr yarn sets off a vivid skirt which could rival Joseph's biblical coat of many colors. A friendly red Coke cooler seems to act like a magnet on campus, seeming to invite refreshment and friendly conversation. And whatever the sport, whether riding a horse or merely pitching his shoes, the pleasant post-event preference the world over is the pause that refreshes. Style-alert college girls pounce as avidly on a new fashion discovery as on the newest platter at the record shop. On the eve of the coronation and the homecoming celebration, Queen Betty and her court appear to advantage in wonderful new creations by Jane Irwell, slick, smart, sophisticated evening sweaters. Sweaters that don't even look like sweaters, extravagantly beautiful, and an integral part of the glamour and loveliness of the formal ensemble. Jane Irwell luxury loom sweaters have been the perennial campus necessity. Now, beautiful new evening sweaters, focal point of charm for the formal gown, complete the picture of perfect sweater fashion round the clock. A pleasant homecoming tradition, picnic in the neighboring park. And the transportation is elegant. A gleaming new '49 Ford station wagon, the car of the year, the thrilling new car that more than pays off its promise of all new driving pleasure. And to put everyone at ease, to make people happy, Coca-Cola, easy, welcome hospitality in a handy picnic cooler. The best guarantee in the world for a picnic success. Picnic appetites are ready, and so are the plates. The question before the group is, what's cooking? Well, there's the answer. That all-time picnic favorite, hot dogs. Heavy on the mustard, if you please. Prescribed for picnics, of course, sweaters. Jane Irwell's outstanding beauties, teaming practical comfort with tasteful style, and styles to fulfill any preference. In this alert aggregation are long and short sleeves, regulation cardigan in Botany Zephyr yarns, a small fanciful club collar, and that old friend of yesteryear, back now stronger than ever, a popular turtleneck. But something new has been added, too, to the all-over cable stitch, all with characteristic Jane Irwell beauty and wearability. Joyce's incoming fall collection strikes a glowing new note in footwear, colorful footwear. The suede rough glove leather in Joyce turf toppers has such new hues as nut brown, gray squirrel, and evergreen. Turf toppers are specially constructed to go over the hill and through the woods. As a conscientious queen, Betty must be sure the team is ready to uphold the honor of the school. She and Jerry consult Tommy to get an inside estimate of the chances for victory. The costume for two-wheeling is a smartly tailored shirt, a distinctive pedal pusher by D.D. Johnson. The noted California designer chose a brilliant plaid for this attention-getting garb, in a new look length for pedal pushers. The shoes are a new practical Joyce model in soft, glowing gray. Well, apparently the inside grid dope is good. Tommy certainly doesn't look worried, and he should be in a good position to know, right on the action front. At William and Mary, scholarship is a tradition, ever since the day in 1776, when a group of William and Mary students founded Phi Beta Kappa, the first Greek letter fraternity in America, now recognized and honored throughout the world. But even an institution of such cherished traditions and hallowed memories must yield to a surge of violent high spirits on occasion, and such an occasion, obviously, is homecoming, with hordes of returning alumni pouring into the quiet Virginia town to share with undergrads the excitement of the big game. Colorful mums and pennants in the rooting section will be matched by bright, crisp colors in fall footwear. Joyce offers color variety, plus amazing versatility in shoecraft, from smart casuals to the dressiest formal model. Straps are surprisingly variegated, single, double, or triple, in crisscross, high on the ankle, or low over the arch. Here is the new look in sweaters by Jane Irwell. This low turtleneck of Botany Zephyr yarn is supple, graciously charming, and a perfect match for the mood of autumn. The skirt is a stripe, contrasting with solid green above. D.D. Johnson creates three more winning campus combinations: vivid beauty, variety, and alert fall freshness. D.D. sought for classic simplicity in fashion and relaxed casualness of line in this beautiful plaid. The result is a winning, easy beauty aimed straight at the collegiate heart. A shirt dress of rayon flannel with a beautiful flowing simplicity all its own. The intriguing two-tone belt provides accent and interest. This D.D. Johnson casual, a fine rayon gabardine, comes in vibrant fall colors. Reminiscent of 1914 are the button tab detail and hemline pleats on the skirt. Here's a crisis. Coronation at hand and no sign of mother's train. But Jerry agrees to stand in for Betty at the station in the emergency, and does in fine style. A dazzling new Ford 49 convertible, the dream car of millions, is the transportation. Fit carriage indeed for the mother of a queen. The train arrives at last, but just late enough to cause Mrs. Walsh to miss seeing Betty before the ceremony. It draws into the college town station. And when the porter hands down a trim, small, eager person, Williamsburg has its first glimpse of the new Mrs. Walsh. Seeking the woman whom Betty described, Jerry is totally unprepared for what he sees. Far from the plain, sweet person he was told to look for, here is a positive vision in chic chartreuse sailor, a high-style fetching crepe number with surplus neckline and chartreuse crepe inset. Tassel trims at waist and tunic skirt to complete a stunning ensemble. Jerry's surprise is understandable, for it's quite a start to meet without forewarning a once plain woman who has donned the magic vestments of a newly acquired young viewpoint. An agreeable shock, but a shock nonetheless. Betty and her honor court of beauty leave the college chapel ready for the coronation. The ceremony is simple but moving. Every member of the court, a queen of beauty, worthy of a crown in her own right. But now comes yet another thrill and surprise for Betty, her charming but plain mother. But what a metamorphosis! Homecoming queen meets another worthy of a floral crown, a mother with a young viewpoint. So the day moves to its climax, the William and Mary homecoming parade, preceding the big game. The team is victorious, and homecoming is automatically a success. Old grads and green freshmen alike will enjoy the evening's homecoming ball.
Let's get some guys to play guitars. Let's get sentimental. Let's get our eyes all full of stars. Let's forget that the rest of the crowd may not go for that sort of thing. We'll find us a dream in a cloud filled with happiness fit for a king. When we hear a love song, a sentimental roundelay, we can share a love song that we can sing from day to day. Why should we care what the others may do when we know a romance will pay? Let's let's get sentimental and let's stay that way.
It's great to be a Phi Mu, living here with my sisters in my college home. Until I came here, I had no idea how big a university could be. I was just one of thousands of students, a face in the crowd, and a campus that seemed to stretch for miles. In my dorm alone, there were more students than in my entire high school. Not that I didn't like it. It was exciting, just being here. Then came rush week, and one party after another. I had a chance to make many new friends, to choose the ones I wanted as my college sisters. I felt a little unsure of myself at the first few parties. But one of the things that impressed me most during rush was the Phi Mu spirit, their enthusiasm and friendliness, the sincere interest they took in me each time I was there. Almost immediately, I felt at home, as if I already belonged. Now, I'm helping to give parties, but not just for rushies. Last Christmas, we invited children from an orphanage. We were their Santa Claus, and what fun we all had. I needed the Phi Mus at first, but now they depend on me too. Best cure for loneliness ever, to be living here in a whole house full of Phi Mu sisters.
After midterms all last week, tonight will be a real celebration. Actually, though, midterms weren't really that bad. They could have been a lot worse without advice from the chapter scholarship advisor and from my big sister, who gave me the encouragement I needed. With her help, I got my feet on the ground in a hurry and found out early how to tackle the absolute mountains of assignments. Believe me, it was great to know that my sisters really cared about my grades, that they wanted to help. No need to panic. There was always someone I could count on when I had a question. My biggest problem was the science requirement, until I discovered that one of my sisters was majoring in science and could explain even the most complicated equations. My favorite place to study is the special study room here at the house. It's always open, and it's especially useful when I have only an hour to study and can't go all the way to the library. I was continually encouraged to do my best in each of my courses. I did so well, in fact, that I even surprised myself and ended the semester with a straight A average and was awarded my Phi Mu scholarship charm. Especially exciting since it meant national recognition for me and for our chapter. But study isn't all we do at Phi Mu. For one thing, there's the fun of planning special group projects, like our Carnation Ball, in which we can all participate.
A milk carton that never held a drop of milk helped Phi Mu collect the pennies necessary to buy milk and supplies for the good ship Hope. Our chapter joined collegiate and alumni members throughout the United States in this, our annual National Service Project. Each of us had a special job to do, setting up displays around campus or in town, explaining the importance of the mission of hope. Our pennies served to provide milk, made fresh daily, right on board ship, in an iron cow. Imagine, by combining seawater and powdered milk, it feeds thousands of hungry, underprivileged children overseas. We also help to send doctors and nurses aboard the hospital ship to remote areas where medical attention is virtually unknown. The SS Hope is one of the best goodwill ambassadors Americans can have, and just one of the ways a Phi Mu helps others. We have local service projects too, which give us a way to fulfill the first line of our creed, to lend to those less fortunate a helping hand. Toy carts for hospital patients, toys collected for the Salvation Army. There are so many opportunities, even parties like this, to raise money for the needy, things we really enjoy doing together.
What fun the Phi Mus are having tonight. I wonder if the seniors are thinking, as I did at their age, that their close friendships will end with graduation. Actually, I probably know more Phi Mus now as an alum than I ever dreamed of knowing as a co-ed. You'll meet them, too, on practically any campus you choose. This is the home of our chapter at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, a beautiful house that reminds me of the old French Quarter. We have chapters throughout the West, too. At Fresno State College in California, you'll see this interesting-looking house, patterned after the early California Mission House. In the Midwest, at Indiana's Purdue University, you'll find about 80 sisters living together here in this lovely house. It looks a little like colonial Williamsburg, doesn't it? Or in Mississippi at Millsaps College, still more Phi Mus, gathering at their lodge, studying, and having fun together. In the Southwest, amidst vast stretches of desert, a totally different way of life at the University of Arizona. But the Phi Mus you meet here are just as great as they are everywhere, whether collegiates or alumni. There are alumni chapters like ours in every major city and in many of the smaller ones as well. Even Honolulu, Hawaii, where my husband and I spent 2 glorious weeks last summer. I checked the Aglaia directory for the name of the club president. One phone call, and right away I received a hearty aloha and an invitation to attend an informal meeting of some alumni at her house the next day. What a thrill it was to meet Phi Mus so far from home. From that day on, we were no longer just tourists. It's a great feeling knowing that membership is for life, and that as alumni, we're providing advice and guidance to our collegiate chapters everywhere, helping each girl prepare for the fullest, most meaningful life possible.
I bet the founders of Phi Mu would be amazed to see us today, to know how many lives have been touched through the years by their group, begun as a small literary and philanthropic society, now a national sisterhood of more than 45,000 members. Phi Mu was born over a century ago in 1852 at Wesleyan College here in Macon, Georgia, when 3 young co-eds, daughters of prominent families, met to form the Philomathian Society, which some years later adopted the Greek letters Phi Mu. A feeling of the period, known so well to the founders, is retained in this memorial room, furnished with rare and beautiful antiques of the 1850s, many from the families of early members. Overlooking the room are portraits of the founders, adventurous pioneers in sisterhood. They'd probably be overwhelmed by the size and activity of Phi Mu today. I'm sure they'd approve, though, for the basic values, the standards of excellence are still the same, and their dream of sisterhood and service has become a reality. Ours is the second oldest national collegiate sorority. Its rich heritage, preserved intact, is handed down to each successive generation of new members.
The spirit of Phi Mu is most strongly felt in the initiation ceremony, in the experience of actually becoming a sister. The first excitement came when I received my bid from Phi Mu and became a pledge. Our pledge director was like a big sister to each of us, helped us understand our pledge assignments and duties, and to learn the real meaning of Phi Mu sisterhood. Then came the great day. It was almost too good to be true. A sister, at last wearing the Phi Mu pin. One of the happiest moments of my life. For the first time, I felt the true meaning of Phi Mu. The spirit I'd heard so much about had become a part of me. Oh, I can't explain it. It just happened. A feeling of belonging, of close friendship, and just plain happiness.
What is Phi Mu? First of all, it is a family of friends, bound not by blood or legal ties, but by a common set of ideals. Friends with a sense of belonging to one another. To indicate in a sense that you are a member of the family, you add a suffix to your name. You are your name plus Phi Mu. And so you will never be alone. Then, too, you will always have the responsibility that you owe to one another.
Phi Mu is a voluntary organization based on mutual choice. You choose Phi Mu, and Phi Mu chooses you. When we invite you to become a member of our family, we're saying, in effect, we like you and think you are an individual worthy of the ideals of our fraternity. You are capable of living those ideals and of passing them on intact to generations to come.
Phi Mu is scholarship. The objective, however, is not just grades for grades' sake. Each of us looks for the kind of knowledge we can actually use, knowledge to understand our world, to help us in our daily lives.
Phi Mu is service. As such, it teaches you to know yourself, as well as to understand others, to learn to live successfully with yourself and with your close friends. Then to look beyond your immediate circle to the community in which you live, to become an active contributing member of the total society, your college town, your church, your country.
As a social organization, Phi Mu promises you a lifetime membership and the companionship of others like yourself wherever you may go. Our sisterhood is based on principles of love and understanding expressed in the friendliness and sociability of group life enjoyed by each of us. In this atmosphere, we continue to grow in spirit, in knowledge, in social poise, in the qualities of ideal womanhood.
The story of Phi Mu membership, to find close friends, incentives to achieve, a place to belong, all this and much more.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep,
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.